If you have your own creepy story, I'm waiting for your email. All the information under the video. Thank you for watching. Please, press like and subscribe to my channel. Story 1. High school was supposed to be the best years of our lives, but for me and my friends, it turned into a living nightmare. It all began when we discovered an old yearbook hidden deep within the dusty attic of the school library. It was from the class of '87, a class with a dark secret. The yearbook was tattered and worn, with faded pictures of students who had graduated over 3 decades ago. One name in particular caught our attention: Sarah Turner. She was a girl with dark, distant eyes who looked out of place among her cheerful classmates. As we flipped through the pages, we noticed a recurring pattern. Sarah seemed to be in the background of every photograph, often lurking in the shadows, her presence like an unsettling specter. We asked some of the older teachers about her, but they all seemed to get uncomfortable, muttering about how they barely remembered her. Determined to uncover the truth, my friends and I began digging into Sarah's past. The more we searched, the stranger things became. It turned out that Sarah was the valedictorian of her class, involved in numerous clubs and organizations. But her involvement was far from ordinary. She was the president of the school newspaper, debate team captain, and even the student body president. The strange part was that no one from her class could remember her, and those who did gave vague, evasive answers. We discovered a local news article that mentioned a bizarre incident involving Sarah. It was said that on the night of her graduation, she had disappeared without a trace. Her classmates couldn't recall seeing her at the ceremony, and when her name was called, there was a strange, eerie silence. The mystery deepened when we found out that Sarah's disappearance had been the latest in a series of strange occurrences in the school. People reported hearing whispers in the hallways, unseen footsteps echoing through empty corridors, and strange cold spots. Some even claimed to have seen a shadowy figure lurking in the school, watching from a distance. One evening, my friends and I decided to spend the night in the school to uncover the truth about Sarah Turner. Armed with cameras and recorders, we began our investigation, starting in the very room where her yearbook photo had been taken. As the night wore on, things took a terrifying turn. Lights flickered on and off, doors slammed shut with a deafening force, and strange, ghostly whispers filled the air. The photographs we took revealed eerie, translucent figures, and we could hear Sarah's voice calling out to us, pleading for help from beyond the grave. The deeper we dug, the more we uncovered a sinister secret. It turned out that Sarah had been investigating a string of mysterious disappearances during her time at the school. She had uncovered a web of conspiracies and dark rituals that had taken place within the very walls of Willowbrook High. We realized that Sarah had been silenced by those responsible for the malevolent forces that plagued the school. These dark forces were determined to keep their secrets hidden and their rituals uninterrupted, and they would stop at nothing to protect their interests. My friends and I were plunged into a nightmarish struggle as we tried to reveal the horrifying truth behind Sarah's disappearance. The more we uncovered, the more intense the haunting became. It was as though the very school itself had come alive with a malevolent presence. In the final, chilling moments of our investigation, we uncovered a hidden chamber beneath the school. There, we found evidence of dark rituals, symbols, and writings that hinted at an unspeakable evil. It was a malevolent force that had been bound within the school for decades, and it had claimed Sarah as its latest victim. As we unraveled the truth, the school seemed to rebel against our efforts. The walls closed in on us, the very ground beneath our feet shook, and we realized that the malevolent force was determined to silence us forever. In a final, desperate attempt, we managed to break the curse, setting Sarah's spirit free. The school itself began to crumble, and the malevolent presence retreated, disappearing into the depths of the earth. Our high school, once a place of nightmares, was reduced to ruins. As we emerged from the collapsing building, we knew that we had survived a horrifying ordeal, one that would forever haunt our memories. Willowbrook High would forever remain a place of darkness, a testament to the horrors that can lie hidden beneath the surface. And so ends the tale of the cursed yearbook, a story that delves into the darkest recesses of high school horrors, where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and where some secrets are better left undiscovered. Story 2. I live in rural New Brunswick, and it was early September, the first day of my senior year in high school. I had been held back a year, so I was returning as a 19-year-old. Our school was unique, combining middle school and high school in the same building, which meant I knew most of the kids in our small school. On the first day of school, I noticed a new student named Chester in my study hall class. He sat on the other side of the room, and something about him struck me as off. He approached me to introduce himself, and I agreed to show him around the school. As I guided Chester through the school, he began asking me strange questions. While some were ordinary, such as how long I had been at the school, others, like asking for my address, seemed unsettling. Eventually, I gave him my Snapchat instead. During English class, Chester's behavior grew increasingly bizarre. He kept trying to get my attention and urged me to follow him. However, his actions left me feeling uneasy. I was not ready to follow him into the unknown, especially considering the odd questions he'd been asking earlier. Later that day, Chester messaged me, urging me to join him in the basement of the school. His persistence was unnerving, and I decided to block him. I thought I had put an end to the strange encounter. That evening, after returning home, I received a series of concerning notifications on my phone. A Snapchat request came from an account named, "Why Didn't You Enter the Basement?" I blocked that account, but more requests followed, growing increasingly hostile. The final request read, "I know where you live," and I heard the sound of a window breaking downstairs. In a panic, I called the police, and they advised me to find a safe place. As I hid in a closet, I heard footsteps moving through the house. It was Chester, and he was inside. The police arrived too late, and Chester had vanished. He had escaped through a basement window. I provided the police with the information they needed, and they promised to investigate. The next day, I reported the unsettling encounter to the school principal. However, to my surprise, the principal claimed that there was no record of a student named Chester in the school. The investigation revealed that Chester had sneaked into the school and blended in with the other students. He had been an imposter. The ordeal left me deeply shaken, and I often wondered about his true intentions and why he had wanted me to follow him into the basement. It was a chilling reminder that some people are not what they seem, and danger can be closer than we think. Story 3. As the sun set on that fateful Friday evening, my footsteps carried me homeward, each stride laced with anticipation. My phone buzzed with texts, igniting our group chat with discussions of our eagerly awaited plans for the night. In the midst of my animated exchange with friends, a curious message disrupted the flow, an unfamiliar number with a mysterious invitation. The message led me to the extraordinary tale that unfolded from that point on. Suddenly, the mundane Friday walk turned surreal as I glanced over my shoulder in response to the enigmatic text. There, dashing toward me with a lively wave, was Craig, a name and face I'd encountered for the very first time that day. Bemusement gave way to a hushed exclamation under my breath, caught off guard by the unexpected rendezvous. Craig soon caught up with me, sparking a conversation about the distance from school to my home. Engaging in small talk, we shared that both of us lived within about a 10-minute walk from school. Craig, however, had a proposal, suggesting we collaborate on our assignment and, for good measure, indulge in some beers. Reluctantly, I explained I had prior commitments with friends, hoping this polite refusal would suffice. Alas, he persisted, inviting himself along to our gathering. Stuck in an awkward position, I resorted to improvisation, explaining that my friend Liam's house was off limits to strangers, courtesy of Liam's mother's house rules. To my relief, the excuse seemed to work, and Craig continued alongside me as we made our way. Nonetheless, a nagging unease began to creep over me, wondering if he was shadowing my path all the way home. These concerns, it turns out, were not unwarranted. As we reached my house, I bade Craig farewell with a quick, wary fist bump, but his retreating figure continued down the street. Yet, something about the way he glanced back over his shoulder raised an unsettling feeling. I hurried inside and messaged my friends, sharing the oddity of my encounter with Craig. Liam chimed in, echoing my sentiments about this strange new acquaintance. Our evening plans to gather at Liam's house loomed on the horizon, set for around 9 o'clock. Hours passed, And then another text arrived, this one casting a pall of disquiet over my night. It was Craig again, questioning the presence of a police car in front of my house. Confused, I ventured outside to investigate, only to find no squad car, but Craig himself, lurking in our driveway. He burst into laughter, as though he'd manipulated me into coming outside. Disoriented and deeply unnerved by his inexplicable actions, I asked him what was going on. Offense flitted across his face, and he couldn't stifle the discomfort in his response. Seeking refuge, I hurriedly retreated inside, locked the door, and messaged him that his behavior was unnerving. Little did I know, that would be a mistake. He responded with a lengthy message about how he thought I was different, only to discover that I was just like everyone else. Sharing a screenshot of this exchange with my friends, their reactions were a mix of shock and amusement. In an effort to distance myself from this unsettling encounter, I emailed my teacher, asking if I could tackle the assignment solo and explaining the circumstances. Leaving the house, I headed to Liam's, seeking refuge while ignoring Craig's incessant calls, dreading the impending return to school on Monday. Skipping ahead to my arrival home around 11 or 12, a rather ordinary evening awaited. My family was out, my parents, perhaps with friends, and my sister, with her boyfriend. I locked the door behind me and ventured up to my room. Settling in for a night of YouTube videos, the tranquility was shattered by an unexpected ring at the back door. Expecting my sister's return, I descended in haste. However, the sight that met me was anything but ordinary. The backyard was shrouded in darkness, and the area around the back door lay devoid of life. My heart raced as I cautiously unlocked the main door and called out into the night, "Hello." But what happened next sent a chilling shiver down my spine. Clear as day, I heard the unmistakable sound of a shoe scraping against the concrete patio just to the left of the door. Panic set in, and I quickly retreated, locking the door behind me and rushing upstairs to call my dad. With no response on his end, my phone began ringing once more. It was Craig. I let it ring, refusing to answer, when he sent a message instructing me to come outside. In a sudden shift, I replied, "I'm calling the police." To my astonishment, his response was, Okay, I'm leaving." It was him, hiding in my yard, waiting for my unsuspecting emergence. With my heart in my throat, I shared a screenshot of this unsettling encounter with my family and friends, and then reported the incident to the school. Contacting Craig's parents revealed a disturbing pattern. His family's frequent moves, often necessitated by his disruptive behavior at school. The implications were unsettling, suggesting the harm he might have inflicted on those who found themselves unwillingly ensnared by his attention. Monday brought no sign of Craig, and he never returned. My best guess? Another school transfer for a restless troublemaker, leaving behind a trail of unsettling encounters for those who crossed his path.